Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name's Stacy. So I would like to thank all the new subscribers for signing up. Mr. Smokey's over here staring into the corner at nothing. I don't know if he's trying to... He's teething, so I think he's just looking for something to chew on, but he's silly. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what's kind of going through my mind right now. I love him, and he means so much to me. He has filled a hole in my soul that I didn't realize was there. Because when I was grooming dogs, I was always around puppies and old dogs and, regular age dogs, middle-aged dogs. And, so you kind of got that baby love. And we had a lot of rescue groups that came through because I worked at a corporate store and they contracted with a couple. So we would have rescue groups in like one weekend a month, sometimes 2 weekends a month, depending on how many animals they had. And they would sometimes foster kittens at the store if they were out of room. We would keep them at the store. So, and they were right in front of grooming, so I could go out and hold them anytime I wanted. One time I was coming out to use the bathroom, and I just happened to see something move out of the corner of my eye, and I turn my head and I see this little kitten jumping out of one of the things. Apparently when they had cleaned the litter, someone didn't lock the thing, and I don't have a key for that. That managers have it. So I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? So I ran and I grabbed the kitty, I put it back in, and I stood there holding the door, and I'm like, well, this is great. I can't stay here forever. Hey, Smokey. Um, and anyway, I saw another employee and like yelled halfway across the door. I'm like, hey, need help? Cat on the loose, cat on the loose. This is what he does when I film. This is why you never see me on camera. Hi, I love you too. So, like I said, I just love him. But you gonna hang out? Hi, can you say hi to the people? But I am thinking about writing a children's book based on him and two of our other pets and my neighbor across the street's pet. So it would be two cats and two dogs. Kind of like Garfield type pets that, like, associate with each other. But I want to make it for children, but I also want to be able to make it helpful for anyone that is struggling to overcome anything, whether you're a veteran that's trying to overcome PTSD, or you've lost a limb from combat or from a car accident or from cancer. you know I, that's why I put him on all the time, is I hope that it will help somebody feel better about themselves. I hope it makes somebody's day to see that he's happy, that, hey, he doesn't dwell on the fact that either he was born with a bad leg or he sustained an injury shortly after birth. Because by the time rescue got him, the injury was already there, and their vet said, no way it can be fixed. It won't heal properly. So, they had to take it. And he doesn't complain. He doesn't, say, woe is me. Maybe he feels that way sometimes, but he certainly can't say it. And it gives me courage. It gives me strength to face the day. It gives me, I don't know, the ability to dream big again, because I've really been like let down by life in the last 2 years. It's been really hard in a lot of ways, and everybody's life is hard right now. It's expensive to survive, just trying to put food on the table. It's not easy right now for anybody. So I'm not saying I have worse problems than anyone. I'm just saying in the last 2 years, compared to the 4 years prior to that, the stress has gotten a lot worse. I lost my dad in 2020. My mother, we almost lost after her knee surgery when her gallbladder went bad. So it's since Thanksgiving. It's since 2 days before Thanksgiving. It's been a very long time. And I didn't realize how stressed out I was and how much anxiety that was adding to my already anxious personality. So, I just wanted to share that I'm moving forward, and I'm gonna do what culturally we always do. Try again, pick up. Well, that didn't work, so pick up and try again, you know. And I'm not young, so it doesn't make it easy because I've got some real challenges physically when it comes to trying to get a job. I've got bad knees and a horrible back and lifting restrictions because I have 4 herniated discs in my back. So, that's why I liked my job at 7-Eleven, even though, yeah, we do get heavy boxes and those syrup cases for like, especially the really big ones like the Coke and Diet Coke that are bigger than like some of the smaller ones like root beer or Fanta, like those syrup cases. I mean, they're heavy. And when you're the only person working and you have to move them, you don't have somebody to help you or to team lift. And they're wobbly, the boxes break easily. And oh my God, it's not the easiest thing to do. That was probably the hardest thing physically for me to do, especially because the boxes would break. It would have been a little easier if the boxes were more sturdy, but it is what it is. But yeah, so I'm going to write a book. What I'm going to kind of do is arc it for like a trilogy or a series. And then, start it with like his birth, which, obviously he would just open his little eyes and he's here. And then something happens and he gets to rescue and, kind of just start how we got him. And that would kind of be the end of the first book. It's him having a new beginning and a happy home. And then kind of getting into, life with them. So, I don't know. I think that would be, and I'm willing to give the books out for free. If, I don't, I believe God repays. I don't believe that I need to try to sell a book. And yeah, I'm going to put it up for sale, but I'm going to get copies that I'm going to donate to hospitals, or because we've got major children's hospitals in Michigan. The University of Michigan has a huge one, and downtown Detroit has one, and they both deal with very sick children, whether they're autistic or whether they've got cancer or Parkinson's or Fragile X or some kind of other major disease, diabetes, that even like severe acne, like they treat, kids that are, complex cases. So, I mean, I would be more than happy to donate some copies to the children's hospitals. But, I don't know. I just thought that would be a nice idea. And, like I said, you can kind of arc it toward where, like, I'm going to kind of make it for younger children, but I mean, if it's successful and there's a story in play, then I can always write a more complex, like bring all the books together, like all the little kids' books together and write a bigger overarching series for teens and young adults or adults that, want to read that kind of book. If there's a demand for it. I mean, we'll see. It's just the thought I'm mulling over. What I need to do is find somebody that can draw, because I can't draw a straight line. I do want to get a tattoo of him, and we do have these really cool custom tattoos that we got. The orange stingray. My father had an orange Corvette Stingray, so we had always said after he had passed that we wanted to get an orange stingray tattoo. So my daughter had this tattoo artist make one, and it's funny because I went and got to her artist and got the same tattoo. And what's funny is if you look real close on mine, you see little dots. It's kind of hard to see on me because I'm freckled, so the little white dots kind of blend in with the little brown dots, and it kind of makes the orange look different colors. It gives it like a mottled look, which is very funny because when I hold my arm next to my daughter, she's much darker complected and she has no freckles. My youngest son has freckles. My oldest 2 kids take after my husband, where they're more olive skinned, and they don't have freckles. So on her, the orange looks uniform and the white looks really bold. So even though we have identical tattoos done by the same artist with the same ink, so it's not like, it's a different ink, so it it's not as good of a quality. It's the same ink, but because of my freckles and years of skin damage when I was a kid, SPF 15 was the best you had, and it wasn't waterproof. And I grew up in the water up north, but it wasn't uncommon when I was a child for. My parents are both teachers, and most people I know, if their parents worked, for, for the big three, or either you had a big boat that, like an overnight boat, like a big power boat or a big sailboat. There's big boating culture around here, or you had a place up north. We had lakefront property, but a lot of people just have little small cottage in town, and then they'd get a membership at like one of the beaches, and take the kids there. So when I was a kid, it was very common for people that were two-income families to have a second home or a large boat. That like my aunt and uncle would sail the boat from Detroit down to South Carolina, and they could sleep on it. So I mean, it's like a sailing, it's like a hotel. They could sail it anywhere they wanted, and stay on it. So that's why I followed so much in the Lynette Hooker case, because I mean, I don't know how to sail. My dad did. We went out sailing on a small boat, a little beautiful white sailboat with a orange and white sail. It had like a lighter yellow, or like a dark yellow, but like almost like a gold color, and then a medium orange and a dark orange, or like a regular orange and then like a dark orange at the bottom, on a white sail with a white boat. And you could probably put like maybe 5 or 6 people in it, but there was no below deck area like my uncle's power boat or my other aunt and uncle's sailboat. Very, different kind of sailboats. And then we had a little rowboat, you know, but that was kind of what drew me to the Lynette Hooker case. But, I'm still having anxiety, but it has not been nearly as bad as it was about a week and a half ago. It was really still kind of coming hard and fast, but it's been better. Now he's sleeping. He's been up running around since 2:30. He slept for about like an hour and a half, but then when my husband got up, it woke him up, so then he was up running again. So he's sleeping now. He's down at the foot of the bed, just curled up in a little ball. I love him. I love him. He's my little man. But please like, share, and subscribe. I will probably cut the first 3 minutes out of this into a short, and then just leave this up under the video link. But yeah, so that's kind of like my thoughts for the next few weeks. I'll be kind of looking into getting that written out, rough drafts and things like that. I used to be an excellent writer. I wish I could find one of my high school papers. I couldn't believe how well I was floored at how well I could write, but out of practice, But I do write quickly, so once I have an idea of what I want to say, I am able to write pretty quickly. And in terms of true crime, I never kind of finished my thoughts on David, because I try to cut the shorts exactly at 3 minutes. Otherwise, it just kind of cuts off in the middle of it. But I have opinions on the evidence that came out in the preliminary hearing in the Data case. So, and I'm thinking about looking into the Nolan Wells case. I don't know anything about it. I've just seen it popping up in my feed. Tisa Tells, a reporter that I watched during the Diddy trials, she seems to be covering it, so I like her. She seems to have good information, so I may pop that on and take a look at that. But anyway, please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any ideas, please leave them in the comments. If you have any cases that you're interested in me looking into and talking about, leave them in the comments. I am staying away from Lindsay Clancy unless I get a ton of requests for it, because it's so sad. I mean, I hope and pray that, I've had very bad experiences on birth control. I have, where like I've that felt not the way I would normally feel, and felt like I could take steps not against anyone other than myself that I would not normally take, if you kind of get the point on where I'm going. And they had to quickly get me off that medicine, try another one, and that one, I mean, I went through almost every birth control. Then they were trying to bounce me on and off, like antidepressants to pull me out of that, and that made everything worse. So I know a lot more now than I did then, and why it didn't work. I'm very, very mildly on the spectrum, and apparently if you are on the spectrum, that can really kind of screw up how antidepressants affect you. And it may be why certain hormones and certain, that are in birth control pills, like, they just weren't compatible with my system, and then throwing antidepressants on top of it certainly did not help. I mean, I know they were trying to stop the really bad depression that it put me in, but my point is, I just pray that is what happened, and not that she killed those 3 little babies out of not wanting to be a mom, or out of anger at her husband, or whatever I don't know what was going on. I just pray that it was something went wrong with her wiring, and I know she had been on a ton of different medications prescribed by her doctor, and I've been through that, and it does totally, like, has time, you don't know what's going on, depending on what they have put you on and what the dose is. You may not know up from down, and so I've just stayed away from that for my own mental health. And I haven't even talked about BK over in Idaho that is whining that he wants his plea thrown out. And I think that'll happen when hell freezes over. So I haven't even looked into that, because he just wants his 2 minutes of fame, because he lost it to Rex Sherman, and now there's all these other cases going with David, and he just wants some attention, and I don't want to give it to him. But anyway, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell for either smoky content or content for me. Like I said, I do want to upload some stuff about my thoughts on the David case, but I want to rough outline those out, because when I get in that case, it disturbs me. I kind of meander all over the place. So I'm probably going to take some notes before I actually record that one. So I hope everyone has a great Monday. And again, like, share, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. And Smokey and I will see you in the comments or in the next video. Take care.